Hello Year 9, it's Miss Gray here and I'm going to talk you through what a History GCSE looks like and why you might want to pick it for your options. Let's have a look then at a brief overview of what the course entails. We cover 4 different exam topics ranging in period from early to modern. In Year 10 we start with early Elizabethan England and move on to medicine through time, which has a case study of the Western Front. This is followed up with a study of Weimar and Nazi Germany in Year 11, and finally a unit on superpower relations in the 20th century. Our first unit is early Elizabethan England, and we look at all things to do with the country during the reign of Elizabeth I. We study the government and society, such as entertainment and leisure, and the position of poor people. We also look at the problems Elizabeth faced. One of her biggest problems was religion, due to it leading to many attempts to overthrow her. We look at the attempted Spanish invasion, and why ultimately the period has been considered a golden age. The second unit that you study is Medicine in Britain from 1250 to the present day, and it includes a specific site study on the Western Front. Overall, it asks you key questions about the causes, prevention and treatment of disease, and it traces how these things and ideas surrounding them change over time. Sometimes you'll look at specific case studies of disease, such as the Black Death and the Plague. And when it comes to the Western Front, you look specifically at the injuries caused there and how treatment was administered during the war. The key to this unit is looking at change and continuity over time. To complement the study then of the Western Front when you do your medicine topic, we have taken several trips to the battlefields, and this is an opportunity that you yourselves may get if you choose GCSE history. Our third unit is Weimar and Nazi Germany. It looks at Germany after World War I and the years of crisis that followed, before moving on to look at Germany's golden age before 1929 and the world's economic collapse that brought Hitler to power. We study the origins of the Nazis and how Hitler's popularity grew before assessing how he turned Germany into a dictatorship. We get you to consider what life was like for people in Nazi Germany and how he treated Jews and other groups, before looking finally at his methods of control. The final unit you will study is called Superpower Relations 1941 to 1991, and it focuses on the relationship between Russia and America and how this led to a Cold War across Europe. We ask questions about how the space race developed as well as the arms race and the fear of nuclear weapons. We look closely at the Vietnam War, and then we finish by looking at how tensions thawed in the 1970s and how the end of the Cold War came about. Assessment for the GCSE takes place at the end of Year 11 by way of 3 examinations. The first one is Paper 1, Medicine Through Time in the Western Front, and this examination lasts for 1 hour 15 minutes, and it's worth 30% of the qualification grade. The second paper that you will see is for Elizabethan England and superpower relations. This is also a written examination of 1 hour 45 minutes and makes up 40% of your grade. The final paper, Paper 3, is for Weimar and Nazi Germany. It is again a written examination and it is 1 hour 20 minutes, making up 30% of the qualification. History is the study of the most exciting and important events that have occurred, and so it can pretty much take you anywhere. If you study history, it gives you a really good introduction into modern politics, society, and global events, because often what happens today has its roots in the past. History also provides instruction in critical thinking, writing, and analysis, with history students often developing very good research and presentation skills. It can therefore lead to careers in things like journalism, research and publishing, and it also might lead to careers in the civil service, the education sector, and law. So it can lead to all sorts of things, and it is really up to you to decide where it might take you.
Just to prove that studying history can literally take you anywhere, I've got some people on the slide in front of you who all chose to study history, and I just want to show you some of the places that they ended up. So our first image is Louis Theroux, and he is a documentary filmmaker. That's what he's most famous for, but he's also a journalist and author. The second image is of Diane Abbott, who is a politician in the Labour Party, but she's also a charities campaigner as well. We've got the third image, which is of Chris Hughes. He's not very well known, but he was a co-founder of Facebook, and he then left Facebook to campaign for Barack Obama and his presidency. The fourth image is of W.E.B. Du Bois, and he was a civil rights campaigner and activist fighting for equal rights for black people in America. The fifth image is of Sacha Baron Cohen, and he is most famous as an entertainer and comedian and has starred in lots of his own films, but he is also an author and a writer as well. The sixth image is of Martha Stewart. She is a businesswoman and author. And finally, we have Churchill, who was a journalist and politician and also Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So that just goes to show you that studying history can lead to all sorts of different things.
If you'd like a bit more information about History GCSE, then the best thing to do is to click on the link to the specification, and that takes you through all the different content and details again. You could also speak to your class teacher, who would be happy to answer any questions that you may still have. Obviously, we want you to choose history, but there are lots of different subjects to choose from, and you just need to make sure that it is the best subject for you. Thank you for listening.